Can you find suspended animation? Can you find breathtaking beauty? No thought, no concern. Kind of like sitting at the pool, a little bit like that, but different, conscious, right in the midst of the heat, right in the midst of all circumstances. Yes. And then after you have that moment, that soulgasm, then you have long breath, a sigh of relief. This is meditation. This is your ultimate personal resource. So the breathing will go back to step one because issues come up and you breathe into the new introduction of the scores. You breathe into the ongoing saga with relationship. You find it in your body and then you transfer it to step two, getting help, intercession, advocacy, substitution. Somebody else takes out the bad, somebody else puts in the good. Like a child relies on the parent or the teacher for that because you're not the air, you're not the sun, you're not the moon, you're not an enlightened person. That's it. And so now you rely on this other connection in step two, make everything longer and allow the help from that audio to sort of take over and to do its thing. Step one gives birth to step two. Step two gives birth to step three. As the breath becomes really, really long and you find yourself relaxing and you're beyond anybody interrupting you, you're beyond any kind of anything else, you find that this is important for your future, for your health. And you just simply drop the shoulders more, relax the body more, touch earth with the mind more, and find step three, which is the natural pause of the breath that then has a sigh of relief afterwards. Natural pauses, sighs of relief. And you just smile inside yourself. Because it becomes very funny when you reach this place. The whole thing is just so kind of funny. One of the biggest teachings is called Advaita Vedanta. It's the teaching behind all religion, meaning all things are working together for good. And when you have one moment of that, you don't need a teacher or an anything or a teaching. Teacher and teaching is steps 1 and 2 and 4 and 5 and 6. In step three, which is the truth, there's no teaching, there's no path, there's no teacher. There's just you in this wonder. And that's the beauty of the childhood magic. Learn faster than anybody else, have more energy than anybody else. And to protect that process for the children, you have to make sure that you clean out this stuff every morning, realizing you're never going to be able to do it. You're still going to age and die. So that's kind of weird. Because you expect as you do that, you expect as you do this, I expect to be immortal. I don't know if it's going to work though. So to make that a little reasonable, I just take what I can get. I allow this healing to take place and be humble and grateful for it. So it's that little spice of humility that makes all the difference. Because if you want some kind of completion, then that's a delusion. That's called completion delusion. You should write that down. Completion delusion. So your mind says, I'm going to get the food, I'm going to eat it, I'm going to eliminate, I'm going to be done. That's how the mind thinks. I'm going to somehow get this done. I'm going to accomplish it. Well, aging and death shows you there's no accomplishing that I know about here that's going to make you be so youthful you're going to escape it. So if you realize that and you're humble towards it a little bit and you don't know what to do, now you can have amazing health. You can have amazing, graceful growing age process. You can have peace of mind without thought, which is kind of like seeing your immortal self. That's what happens in step three. You find out this transcendental experience, which is like the love and sex, which is like the pool, which is like the place in nature, which is like the long car ride. It all brings you to that place of transcendence. Your entire health and entire life depends on following this route to get to this place of transcendence according to instruction. You are sovereign in defining the instruction, but if you believe you're going to do it yourself and you don't need the instruction, you're sadly mistaken. Because the power comes from the instruction. The power to do good for the children in the classroom, a lot of the power of you giving you your power to them comes from just doing the homework and just working with you, however smart or not smart, or whatever their situation is. But if they can dance a little bit with just being nice and doing the homework, that creates the paradigm for you to for the power to flow into them of your help. So you do these steps because they model how it naturally happens and you reach the place of transcendence. No thought of what's next. This is more important to me than what's next. So this is where my attention is, not what's next. I have no thought of what's next. Almost no. So you have no thought, what's next, what's before, who he, his, what they did, what they didn't do, what the lady with my book that's in Barnes & Noble all over the world did. They robbed me. Didn't you know it's all a setup? She said, one of the funniest things ever. Yeah, right. So you're very concerned about people tricking you. And, well, you won't be disappointed. As, as far as me, I'll bet you that you'll be disappointed. But as far as your expectation for people, you won't be disappointed at all because that's the only thing people can do. That's why I isolate my relationships to this teaching. Any relationship I have is isolated to this teaching. Absolutely, wife included, Lena included. This is what's primary. There's nothing in my life that's more primary. Not Lena, not anybody, not any money, not any. That's the way it is. And in doing that, I can wholeheartedly serve her, give her everything she needs and wants, and everybody else, maybe. Because if the priority is correct and you take care of yourself, then the kids benefit. Any relationship benefits. But you've got to be very clear about, all right, I've got to listen to the whole great light of God before next week. And thus ends today's session. How do I do it now? Leave studio, end session for all? Oh no, I'll just start recording.